I moved in June. How many books do you think that I have collected since then? Let's find out. If you want to see me talk about the 42 books that I have collected since I moved in June, then stick around. I have thrifted 17 of these books, was gifted 2 books. I got 2 books from a little free library. I purchased 5 books online, and the other 16 I purchased from either Target or Barnes & Noble, mostly using gift cards or when they were having a sale or a discount of some sort. Let's get into it. First, I was gifted Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. One of my TikTok buddies drew me for a drawing to get book fairied, as they call it over there. And so she sent me this book off my wish list. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. I'll leave my TikTok down below. I'm on there every now and then, but since I started my job, it's been a little less frequent. If you wanna hang out on book talk, hit me up. Then I was gifted The Duchess of Kokora by Nikhil Pravala. PR by the Book reached out to me, asked if I wanted to read this and review it, and I said, heck yeah, sounds fun. This just released a few weeks ago in August, and it is kind of a queer marriage games type situation. These next 2 books I got at a little free library. The first one I picked up was Mistakes Were Made by Hannah Brown. She was on The Bachelor. So I thought that was really interesting. Even though I know nothing about this book and didn't know anything before this, I did see that Abby Jimenez blurbed it, so that speaks well to me. Basically, it seems like these 2 people have so many almosts between each other that things just kind of sour between the 2 of them, but then their mutual friend is getting married, and so they kind of have to fake it till they make it. Then we have House of Gucci by Sarah Gay Forden. I probably wouldn't have picked this up, but I went to several little free libraries, and it was very hit or miss. It was mostly miss. I ended up donating, I think, 7 books and just getting 2. Which is fine with me. It was still fun to go check them out. That was my first time ever doing that. But I think I'm gonna end up audio booking most of this because it is like the mystery of who killed Gucci. Let's do some books I ordered online during the Amazon Prime Day sales. These actually weren't reduced price, but when I was looking at books during that time, the price was such a steal that I could not pass it up, and I just finished the Caraval series, so I was excited to pick up The Ballad of Never After and Once Upon a Broken Heart. I think this one's first and this one's second. I really enjoyed that world and the whimsical writing, and everyone who's enjoyed Caraval says that this series is even better. Then I got Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, also during that Amazon Prime sale day. I read The Sea of Tranquility last year, I think it was last year, and it was one of my absolute favorite books of the year. But apparently this one was supposed to come first. So I am ready to check that out. I hope I didn't ruin it for myself. I am currently getting my master's in library and information science, and I had to do a project for what we call collections development, where we collect books for the people in our library based on certain statistics and information. So my focus for this project was on adult science fiction and fantasy novels. So these 2, upon doing research, came up over and over and over again, and I just had to know. And honestly, the reason I had put them off was because of how thick they are, and also how long and involved the series and the universes are. However, I said screw it, let's start. So this is the Mistborn series. This is the first book in that series by Brandon Sanderson. I'm really enjoying it so far. I am about 35% of the way through. This world is so involved and intricate. The world building really is there, as well as the magic. I've heard people talk about it, but now I get it. Is a magic built around metals, which I think is really unique, and in the book it's really well explained. I'm really enjoying getting to know the characters and the quest that they're on, and to see how successful they're going to be, because it is quite a tall order. On the flip side of the coin, we have Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I've also heard amazing things about this universe, about Robin Hobb, and I think there's dragons in this one. Don't quote me on that, but I think there is. Let's do some thrifties, my friends. We had someone donate hundreds of really great quality first edition or nearly first edition science fiction and fantasy books. Legends of Ursi, Tales of Ursi, Ursi Trilogy, all of those were also mentioned in that project that I did. So I just had to know, and then I saw this and I love these covers. This art is just so fun, and so I snatched them up for $2 each. The Ursi Trilogy just pops up all the time when looking at like classic science fiction and fantasy novels. I think I'm in my fantasy era. It's coming, and that's all I've been wanting to pick up lately. I'm excited to add these to my collection. Recently, I went to Half Price Books. I'm gonna rapid fire this really quickly. I got Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. This has super high ratings on Goodreads and is the story about a handful of teens during World War II at a Japanese internment camp, and just how their life was suddenly normal and then flipped completely upside down. I think it's just going to be really insightful for someone who never experienced anything like that. Then we have Too Wild to Tame by Tessa Bailey. I have Too Hot to Handle, and I know I've heard mixed reviews on Tessa Bailey's things. She's hit or miss for me as well, but I thought it was really hard to pass up, just like a fun little romp for $2. Then we have Husband Material by Alexis Hall. I have Boyfriend Material on the shelves. I just wanted the duology together. Now maybe it will get me to read and finish it sooner rather than later, and it was only $3. Then we have This Spells Love by Kate Robb. I recently posted this little haul on TikTok, and literally everyone had such good things to say about this book. It sounds really cute and cozy, and again, it was $2. Then we have The Perfect Crimes of Marion Hayes by Kat Sebastian. I do believe this is the second book in a series, but I think it's a standalone series. I've heard that this is cute and humorous, kind of found family. It sounds like they're gonna have some really good banter, and I'm all about banter. Some other books I've just picked up here and there when I've gone thrifting. We have The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. I still have not read any Beth O'Leary, but I've heard good things. I've heard great things about this book. I know that this was one of Haley Pham's favorite books for a while, and I just need to finally get to it, and I think I got it for like $1 or $2. I also found House of Salt and Sorrows at the same time as The Flat Share by Erin A. Craig. This reminds me of like Ariel from Little Mermaid and her sisters, but if they were maybe human and they lived on a manor by the sea, and then they just keep disappearing, and she's convinced that they're not disappearing accidentally, so she goes and tries to find it out. That's what it sounds like to me. Then we have All the Lonely People by Mike Gale. This sounds super sweet and wholesome, slice of life novel about this older gentleman who now lives in London. He's retired, and he's just, his family thinks he's having the best time living it up, the retired life, all these friends, and it's not true. His daughter announces she's coming, and so he has like a week or two to really make it seem like it's true, because he's worried that she'll try to convince him to come live back where he used to live, and he doesn't want that. I don't know why I'm getting like A Man Called Ove or A Man Called Ave, but it's giving me that vibe, and I absolutely adore that book. Then we have Priest by Sierra Simone. I just saw this and I finally picked it up. It's been on my TBR forever and ever and ever, and I just saw it and decided now is the time to pick up that book. I finally did it, and I finally picked up Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have been debating about this book for forever, you guys, since it came out in May. Okay, that's only a few months. I could not decide if I wanted to or not, but she's a librarian and I'm a librarian. I've heard a lot of people who liked People We Meet on Vacation really enjoy this one, because I feel like there's two types of Emily Henry people. They love beach read and funny story, or they love the People We Meet on Vacation and like book lovers. And I'm in the latter group. Next is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is part of the Broken Earth series. My really good friend Sonia has talked about this series so much. She absolutely loves it. Again, it came up in that project I did a lot, so I was like, I need to know. So I got it. These next few I got from my library book sale as well, and that is Ledge by Stacey McEwen, I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's called the Glacian Trilogy. Sounds like it's a very icy world. There's like a culling. Okay, I don't know, but I read like the first chapter and I was like, this is cool. It gave me Sky in the Deep vibes. Then we have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I actually have already read this. I just really enjoyed it. I don't see it available to thrift very often, so for $1 I was like, heck yeah, I'd love to have this on my shelves and be like, yeah, do you want to borrow this book or just talk to people about it? My partner and I recently had a kind of a housewarming get together with some of our friends, and the shelf was very popular. People walked away with a lot of book suggestions. Some of my friends walked away with some of my books voluntarily. I was aware and gave permission. And I just love that. I mean, like, they're there because I want to see them and I love them and I love collecting books, but there's that other aspect of like sharing what I love with others. Then we have Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa. This was thrifted for $1 for my library's book sale. I am currently in the middle of reading Pestilence by Laura Thalassa, and I've just found her writing style very smooth and easy to consume. I think I read like 60 pages in one sitting. I just thought it would be interesting to pick up another dark romantasy. I'm sorry, my fridge is throwing a fit. It's like making all these noises. Apartment living, what can you do? Okay, let's look at all of the books that I bought. I did have some gift cards to Barnes & Noble. I had some points from Barnes & Noble, and then Target sent out like a coupon for being a student, and I took advantage of that. So that's how I got all of these. So first we have Business Casual by B.K. Borison. This is the final book in the Love Light series. I actually just finished the second book in that series, In the Weeds, and so I'm excited to give this a read. And this one's supposedly the one set in fall, so I'd really like to get to it this fall, I hope so. Then we have Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood. I bought this and read this for a book club because I'm trying to make friends here in Austin. I thought books would be a good way to try that. Then I purchased and just finished reading I'm Afraid You Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle. This one was interesting. I thought it was gonna be like really cozy and fantastical, and it ended up kind of being like this epic towards the end. It wasn't quite the vibe that I was thinking, but it was still entertaining and fun. Then we have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. If you can tell, I annotated, I tabbed it up. This was absolutely delightful, and I think my favorite read of the year. Then I got King of Sloth by Anna Huang. Have I read the second and third book of the series yet? No. But I got this one already. It is the fourth book in the series. It follows Xavier, who I don't know. I don't even know who Xavier is yet, so. But I do know Sloane. Sloane is the main female from the first book, one of her best friends. Y'all, there was one day I just bought so many books at Barnes & Noble. I used my gift card, I used my points, and Leather and Lark was one of those books that I got. This is the second book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. I've heard mixed reviews, but I still think it'll be fun to read. It'll be perfect for this season. Then I finally did it. Book Talk girlies, Booksta girlies, Booktube girlies. Gina, I'm looking at you. Y'all got to me. And I finally picked up the Powerless series. So I got Powerless, Powerful, and Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I just realized this one's like gold. I wonder if this was the special edition. Also in that same day, I picked up Rouge by Mona Awad. This has been recommended to me a few times by a few different people, so I'm really interested to read it. I think it's kind of a dark twist on Snow White, but it does a deep dive into the beauty standards that women have to live up to, and just how it sinks its roots into you, and just the negative aspects of that. It just sounds so interesting, and I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of like female rage present, which is one of my favorite things. The complete opposite of that is The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. This is a nanny, grumpy sunshine romance. They were mentioned in Fangirl Down, which I read earlier this year and absolutely loved. It was so fun. I know it's not for everyone, but I enjoyed it. So this follows her best friend, Tallulah, who becomes an au pair for this hockey player, Burgess, I think is his name. And his daughter is like 11. He just got custody of his daughter, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. Then we have Cross the Line by Simone Sultani. This is her debut novel. Let me tell you a story. I'm like equally salty and proud of this story because Simone Sultani was going to self-publish. She had everything set up, and in fact she was 1 week out from publishing her novel by herself on her own when it got pulled and picked up by Berkeley. It wasn't going to be released like almost for another year, and then it released abroad first. Rude. And then it released here. Super excited to be reading this book, or to have this book and finally give it a chance. I've never read an F1 sports romance. This is the next book that I got, and that is Next to You by Hannah Bottom Young. This is the second book in the next series. I think they're just interconnected series. My friend Autumn, who is now back on YouTube again, yay, I am so excited to see her videos again. Go check her out. Autumn gifted me Out on a Limb by Hannah Bottom Young last year, and I absolutely loved it. And so then of course I had to start getting all of her other books. The last book, but certainly not the least book I purchased, was The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. I saw this like recommended to me on my Goodreads, and I was like, yeah, that sounds cute. And then it released and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is adorable. And I was like, okay, I need that in my life. Before I moved, I unhauled and got rid of a ton of books. I gifted books, I donated books, I sold books, and I think I'm about at the same level as I was before I moved. But I have some great ones to choose from.